Dandavat. Yeah.
And happily hearing of the prospect of Dana coming to Thailand.
Yes.
Right. And in the more near future, then still Abhinavasundara Prabhu and Kelly Kadamba, they are there in America, they're at the Govinda Mela. So you can
Wow.
expect that they will, and I spoke with them just, well, not just the last few days, but recently, and their plans are always changing. And they said that when they get to know when they'll really be in Florida, they'll let you know.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yay.
As soon as they know, yeah.
Thank you for that update.
All right.
Dandavat.
Dandavat, Leelamoy Prabhu, Paramananda Prabhu, to yourself, Dana, and to Seva Rupa Devirasi, who just joined us with some artwork from Kaila just behind her. And Vrindavaneshwari Devidasi there in Brazil, very happily seeing you there. Hare Krishna, Govinda, Govinda. Good morning, or good evening. Yes, I know. And Ganga Leela Devi Dasi in California, where it is early evening. All right, so dear devotees, let us begin. And I see that we're already running here and on Facebook. So I do have the opportunity, I think, to turn on Facebook today. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All right, so let us begin with our mini Vandanam as we've been doing. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savarutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitangscha Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tuje Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right, wonderful. Back BAC, back to basics. Let's see what's happening here. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yes, so Paramananda Prabhu is driving. Oh dear, we don't want to distract Paramananda Prabhu from driving. But as we do have him, and we never know what he's going to be doing next, are you likely to be pulling over to a safe place where you can devote your 100% energy to transmitting consciousness to us?
In about 15 minutes.
Okay. And you are in Japan?
Yes, still in Japan.
In Japan, all right. All right, and Priyananda Devidasi, they joined us also in the meantime. And Madhava Prabhu, Michael Madhava on Facebook is with us, we know. And because he sent his obeisances to you all, dear devotees. All right, so dear ones, we can start by asking, well, we can start by saying, surely everyone has followed the Rath Yatra of Lord Jagannath, and surely, as always, we are left quite realizing how far we are from of course, the vision of Mahaprabhu, but the vision of the devotees as well, in their chanting and dancing and their view of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So anyhow, Sunday has passed by, and now the deities means the Lordship, and Baladev and Subhadra, they are in the Gundicha temple, they are in Vrindavan. And here in our side, on our side of the world, and in Puri, which we can think is the center when we're thinking of Jagannath Dev, then today Lakshmi Devi is going to come with her lady associates and going to come and show her displeasure at the fact that Krishna did not return home on time. So again, we have to treat all these things very carefully when we when we really know that we don't really see Krishna playing the flute. When we see Jagannath, then the whole Leela we have to hold on our head and say it is their pastimes. And so the types of anger, jealousy, whatever category you want to say, which we see being shown in the incident of the Hera-panchami and the pastimes of Lakshmi Devi today, then we have to really understand that they're well beyond us too, beyond our understanding. So we bow down to all of these activities, and we just say, well, the Leela of the Lord, his consorts, his devotees, is actually achintya, achintya, inconceivable. But a happy day. Again, the Rath Yatra, it is a happy time, not just a happy moment. It's not a one moment event. And like we see, when we have a particular one moment event, you can say the moment of Mahaprabhu's appearance, for instance, and we can say, yes, we've all come to celebrate the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We can say, okay, he appeared at this moment, but you see that one event makes a festival lasting basically 10 days, something like that, and even really longer for many devotees, because they gather before the beginning of the Navadip Dham Parikrama, they stay afterwards. And so Gaura Purnima is, you couldn't say one moment event, but it is being celebrated with the leading up to, etc., etc. But the Jagannath Rath Yatra by itself is a several day event. And we see that from Bengal, devotees would come for 4 months of the rainy season. And essentially the beginning part of all of this is that inspiration Mahaprabhu gave to them and direction too, that come every year and see the Rath Yatra festival. And in Mahaprabhu's humility, yes, also meet with me. But it was the igniting point for the devotees to come every year to meet Mahaprabhu and attend the Rath Yatra festival. So anyway, we've been very Rath Yatra centered, and we were with the devotees and really advising the devotees, don't listen to them channel the English commentary. Don't listen to the English commentary on the television, which accompanies the video. And we were mentioning that, just because there's various things there which they're just not right, and especially within our Sampradaya. But within our Sampradaya is right. What Mahaprabhu gave, what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave, what Guru Maharaj gave, what Gurudev gave, what Srila Prabhupada gave. This is right, what Mahaprabhu has given. And then what they're saying on the commentary is very dubious. And then last Sunday, the Jagannath came out, and I may have gently mentioned it last time, but this time, then I was listening that day, and I think it was the 2006 recording of Srila Gurudev on the Rath Yatra day. And there, twice in that one talk that Gurudev was giving, means he was discussing about Rath Yatra. Twice, he was very heavy and disturbed, you can say even, by the commentary that accompanies on television, what accompanies the Rath Yatra. And Gurudev, when he's so much like disturbed with what is being said there, then what to speak of us? Why will we go to listen? So anyhow, we also did not listen to the commentary. And actually they found a Bengali channel, and I could understand too much of the Bengali. And I asked them, please turn it to another channel so that I can't understand anything, more or less. So anyway, I was, quite, and not to say happy, but to come across the recording of Gurudev talking, because we've been with Gurudev year by year when he's expressed his displeasure. And in that 2006, I think it is recording, Gurudev also says, and what they're saying, it's not pure anything. It's not giving Shankaracharya's philosophy purely either. They're not following even, it's not even that they're presenting properly Shankaracharya. And then, I don't want to say what Gurudev is expressing, because he can say, but he's expressing about, unfortunate things of the conception that's being presented there. And it also struck me that millions of people watch those channels, literally millions of people. For every one person that goes to Jagannath Puri, there must be, some more, whatever the ratio is, but like us, every one Westerner who's able to go, just think how many people are, watching on the TV or watching on the computer. And then you think, to millions of people, they're telling this wrong stuff. So and people believe the TV. They believe the television. They believe the newspaper. Believe it. We don't have to, go there to prove it. But everybody from Coca-Cola downwards, Coca-Cola upwards, okay? Everyone from Coca-Cola upwards knows it. That people believe what they see and hear. So it's no surprise that when, the master television tells the lagu persons, the lightweight, the heavy television tells the lightweight public about so many misconceptions of Jagannath and Jagannath Rath Yatra, then no wonder when we meet people, then they tell us that, oh, I am God, you are God, and so many things like this. So what can we do? We'll have to try to have an actual Gaudiya Vaishnava take over the Hindi channel, the Telugu channel, Tamil channel, the Orissa channel, the Bengali channel, the English channel, Chinese channel, I don't know. It's all these channels broadcasting the Rath Yatra. So one sense is wonderful that they broadcast it, but another sense, look how misleading it is if you listen to what is there too. Anyhow, just a little footnote, as Rath Yatra has passed, today Lakshmi Vijay, and the day when Lakshmi Devi goes to Gundicha temple, and as all the ladies happily are able to tell the story, then the lady servitors of Lakshmi Devi come and bind the servitors of Jagannath, many of whom are very strong, big men. They've been pulling the cart, they do so many things, they're very strong, but the ladies come and bind them and then hurl abuse at them for having taken Krishna away and not having brought him back quickly. And so it is an interesting day, and I shall leave the commentary to all of that to Srila Prabhupada in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And today there is also some commentary on the web on scsmat.com, which was given today. Srila Gurudev talking about morning discourse by Srila Bhaktisundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj at our Calcutta temple, Dum Dum Park temple, 30th of June 2006. So this is 2006 also. The talk starts with Srila Govinda Maharaj describing Lakshmi Devi's victory over Lord Jagannath. And victory is in inverted commas. Air quotes if we do it in a spoken way. So it's quite short, quite a short description. Hare Krishna. All right, so let me look at the Zoom. Oh, Paramanand was driving. Any question from anybody? We can start with questions. Silence from everywhere. Jai Gauranga Prabhu mystically has transported himself from London. He sat in a chair, and then when he got out of his chair, he was in Australia, the other side of the world. So Jai Gauranga Prabhu's back in Australia. Govinda, Govinda. Do you still remember the language, Jai Gauranga Prabhu? Can you understand what they're saying? Are they talking Hari Katha? Okay. All right. Govinda, Govinda. And, oh yes, since Sunday. So since Sunday, I also did some mystic, something mystic. I sat in a chair and I listened to Guru Maharaj. So I was transported to Guru Maharaj's lotus feet. And when I got out of the chair, I was in Italy, just see. So I came from Budapest to Italy. I only did a little bit of yoga. I don't know what it's called, but there is something in yoga where by yoga practice you can go from one place to another and manifest. And it used to be that at the Kumbh Mela, some yogis would kind of maybe show off, but at least some yogis would come there and they would appear out of the river. In the Himalayas, they would do their particular invocation and mantras, and then they would appear, they would do their mantra so that they will be transported to where the Kumbh Mela is taking place. I always associate it with Prayag because that's where the only Kumbh Mela I've attended, which was for service, not for attending the Kumbh Mela as such. The only one I've attended was in Prayag, the confluence of the Ganges, Jamuna and Saraswati. So it is true that previously yogis from the Himalayas or other places would chant their mantras, go into the river in a certain place, and they would come out of the river at the Kumbh Mela, Prayag in this case. No train, no walking. So this is also, and if you were able to see that and document it and have a documentary on the television that documents a yogi that does this, then you start to think, oh my goodness, there is power. There's power in mantra. There's power in austerities. There's some power beyond what we know in this world. But then what about the power of the Maha Mantra to take us not just from one place to another place by sitting and then coming up in another place, but that which will take us from the whole material creation of birth, death, old age, and disease, and all variety of creation as man discovers or thinks they discover so many things, observe at least with their telescopes, etc. So many amazing things in this universe. But the mantra, the power of the mantra the Maha Mantra to take us to Goloka Vrindavan. Why will we not take that seriously? If we were to see the power of so many mantras that can give us wealth, can give us this idea of transporting one place to another, etc. If we could actually see that, get a documentary movie to show, oh, this happens, so many people would start to think, yes, I want those powers. But when we've got the possibility to come from here to Goloka Vrindavan, eternity, joy, bliss, and everything, then we should really think, yes, we should do this, we should use this life, take this Maha Mantra, accept it, and do good for ourselves and everyone that we meet. The Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And it is entirely Radha Krishna centered. When it is coming through the line of Mahaprabhu and our grand masters of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna and Hare Rama. Now Paramananda Prabhu has pulled over his car to a safe location where he can devote full attention to us with no risk of getting ecstatic symptoms while driving. So safe to talk about Krishna. Paramananda Prabhu, kindly we invite you mystically to join us, all over the world.
You certainly don't have to worry about ecstatic emotions. Not going to happen. But yes, Maharaj, it was Ratha Yatra week. Everybody was quite glued, I think, to the different channels. And unfortunately, like you said, things they're saying are better not to be heard. And I used to understand some Hindi, and at some point I was actually quite fortunate to spend few years with Srila Govinda Maharaj on this day in Calcutta, watching together. It was a small gathering of the devotees, maybe 3 or 4. So sitting with Srila Gurudev and watching the Rath Yatra and hearing his comments. And yes, he would say something, he would comment about something, the commentators on the different channels, and quite often he would just mute it and just watch Rath Yatra muted with nothing, no voiceover or no commentaries by anyone. And I've been thinking that it's good to have a spoken Chaitanya Charitamritam, and you can just play Chaitanya Charitamritam, the description of Mahaprabhu's pastimes during the Rath Yatra festival, during you watching that in real time. That will be a very good way of celebrating and participating in online Rath Yatra festival. Because really, it all became very ritualistic over the time, like many things do. People following rules without understanding the proper meaning of the rules, or not following the rules, exactly what Srila Rupa Goswami warns us against. So they have no clue, they just know it's very auspicious. Majority of the people, like vast majority of the people, they're going for this kind of festival in hope to gain something material, some kind of a fortune, some kind of a luck. And they will be praying, like Gurudev would say, Dehi, Dehi, Dehi. That's all they say. Please, please, please give me something. Give me something. Give me money. Give me, I don't know, a child, a good family, a good health, whatever it is. But nothing spiritual. No one will come forward and say, I'm surrendering myself to your lotus feet. That is quite exceptional occasion. And maybe, I'm not saying it's not happening. Maybe it's happening. It's a gathering of more than 1 million people. Who knows? And Vaishnavas are quite hidden in most of the cases. Unless Krishna wants them to shine, then they're coming into a spotlight. But a true Vaishnava will never put himself into a spotlight. This is another thing. The Lord wants Vaishnava to be known to others for their benefit, then he will be known to others. So we're not saying that there's no Vaishnavas there. There's a lot of Vaishnavas coming, different level of surrender, different level of devotion. And today is that it's actually, there are many humorous sections in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And really it's full of humor in a way. If you pay attention how Mahaprabhu deals with his devotees, full of humor, and their behavior, even though they're fully grown adults. I mean, we're talking about Advaita Acharya, for example, how he plays like a child with some other grave personalities. And they behave just like children. Mahaprabhu enjoys that kind of play. And that will happen soon, actually, in a few days, maybe very soon, maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, when the Rath Yatra finishes, reaches the culmination, and lots of mysterious things happen. And one of them is Srila Govinda Maharaj used to say that we can understand why Mahaprabhu is dancing in ecstasy while Lord Jagannath is going to Vrindavan. But can we understand why is he dancing in ecstasy when he is returning to the temple? And that is one of those things that are absolutely beyond our pay grade and our understanding and comprehension. But Govinda Maharaj would just put it in the air. You just be sitting there and thinking, okay, what does that mean? But he will not comment. It's not that he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He will not comment about it. Until this day, it just sits in the air. So maybe one day it will be revealed. Everything can be revealed one day by the grace of the Lord. And today is one of those humorous aspects. But it's not a regular humor. If you're speaking about humor, everything has its beginning in spiritual world, in the highest realm of the spiritual world. So this is the original, the Adi humor. And today is the perfect exhibition of that. As Maharaj mentioned, Lakshmi Devi has been waiting and waiting, and Jagannath is not coming. Then she's getting naturally jealous and very highly suspicious, because a first statement she is going to make is that, why did he abandon my bejeweled throne, such a wonderful place where I, the goddess of fortune, residing? Why did he abandon it for the garden of Srimati Radharani? What is so special about that Vrindavan, and what is so special about the covered girls in there? So this is the statement. She's very perplexed, and as any woman, she's thinking, why am I, less than her? And we hear lots about this. It's a very intimate thing. But anyhow, it happens. She goes there to find out what's going on. She's quite angry. And then there are servants of Lord Jagannath waiting for Lord Jagannath to come out from the gardens of Srimati Radharani, from Vrindavan. And then the maid servants of Lakshmi Devi, they're assaulting the servants of Lord Jagannath and actually binding them and beating them up and saying that you must promise. First, you tell us what is he doing there. The second is he must return. And if you don't do that, if you don't assist him and his return as soon as possible, then you will get even into bigger trouble with that. So yes, and the servants are promising, yes, we'll certainly do. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is described how Mahaprabhu and all his parshads are watching that happen. And Shivastakur, he's glorifying Lakshmi Devi, singing her glories and saying how wonderful she is, how beautiful she is, how much opulence that she carries. So he's saying all of that, and when he's very happy, and of course it's a pastime. He's in the mood of Narada Muni, and then Mahaprabhu is saying, Shiva, you're too much in the mood of Narada Muni. You're overwhelmed by that external shine, the Aishwarya, the opulence of Vaikuntha. Don't forget that here is Swarupa Damodar, and he is the Shuddha Brijbasi. So be careful Do not say anything further. And it's a pastime. They're actually joking with each other. And then what it comes to, Mahaprabhu inspires Swarup Damodar to sing the glories of Braja and the inhabitants of Braja. And it's very beautiful. The verses he quotes, the descriptions he gives, as a beautiful verse. And after that verse, Srivastava, he couldn't hold it anymore. He couldn't pretend to be the Narada Muni overwhelmed by the Aishwarya. He's giving up. He's dancing and slapping his armpits and making very peculiar sound. I don't know. Have you ever tried, Maharaj? I mean, it's quite often mentioned that what devotees would do during Mahaprabhu's time. They just slap the armpits somehow, and it makes very interesting sound. Have you tried that?
Do I have to confess?
Yes. I'm actually going to try, but you have to, they're not wearing the shirt. It have to be just a chadar to access the armpits to slap them properly.
So I can say not as successfully as the associates of Mahaprabhu.
Right. So there is some technique involved, I think. But after hearing that verse that starts from Vrindavane Charanabhushana Mangalanam, he's describing the glories of the ankles of the gopis, the glories of the Vrindavan Dham. And he's also saying that Vrindavan Dham is so opulent that not just a particle of Vrindavan Das cannot be even compared to Vaikuntha. It's much more than that. A drop of water is like Brahma Jyoti. And he just goes on with this beautiful description. And in the end, Srivas Thakur, he gives up and starts dancing in ecstasy. And Mahaprabhu is very happy to watch this very transcendental, humorous exchange. But again, I'm thinking some appreciation. We can appreciate to a certain extent, to a certain level. But there is some appreciation from our side to this kind of pastime. And where it is coming from? Like those millions of people who are hearing those comments about Rath Yatra. I mean, really, we're so fortunate that by the grace of Guru Maharaj, by the grace of Govinda Maharaj, by the grace of our old Guru Varga, we came to some understanding, a particle of understanding of that humor that they are enjoying, Mahaprabhu is enjoying. And of course, it's a very hot time of the year. And I think those who went to Puri know about it, probably the highest temperature at the moment. So devotees need refreshment. And when the pastime is concluded, everybody is going to Indradyumna Sarovar, another beautiful place in Jagannath Puri. And we've been there with Maharaj, and still it's a beautiful place. And then another very humorous pastime happens there. So we're quite Jagannath-minded. And another unique thing about Jagannath and Jagannath Temple and Jagannath Puri, we should always remember that Jagannath Puri is the city built entirely for the purpose of seva, the Lord Jagannath, Jagannath Baldev and Subhadra. There is no other reason for it to exist. And if you walk through the old cities, to the old part of the town, you will just see the panda, servitors, Sevite house, one after another, generation after generation. Sometimes you walk, you see the foundations that's been built centuries ago, and then something been built on top of it, and then again something been built on top of it. So it was always about seva, nothing else. And as it is illustrated in the pastime of Jagannath and Ramanuja Acharya, when he tried to enforce a Vedic, and we were talking about Vedic rules and regulations in Jagannath Puri, Jagannath did not like it. He established his service according to his own sweet will, which is very unique. Whatever happens there is absolutely unique. In a similar way, when Pundarik Vidinidhi is criticizing the servitors of Lord Jagannath for offering him starch cloth, what happens to him? He's getting slapped by Baladev and Krishna, and he's of course very happy about it. But it's a reminder that do not interfere. They're moving according to my sweet will. They're doing everything according to my liking. It has nothing to do with Vedas, absolutely nothing. This is how I like it, and that's how it's going to be. No one is changing absolutely anything. So it is a unique place. And as we read Brihad Bhagavatamritam, we hear how Gopakumar, being in the Mathura, is transported to Jagannath Puri. So it occupies this very special place in the spiritual sky. It's not a part of Vaikuntha. It's a unique, we can say, a planet in the spiritual sky, Jagannath Puri. And as also said, that every resident there have 4 arms, form, like right now. And it's absolutely non-different from spiritual world. I mean, can you digest that before digesting anything else? That should be quite basic. Here is the spiritual world in the material world, and every resident here have 4-armed form and all the Sachitananda Vigraha, including the donkeys. That's my favorite. And that's Sanatana Goswami. We shouldn't doubt him. Even a donkey have a 4-armed form. I mean, donkey is 4-legged. So what is going to be, Maharaj? I'm till this day, I'm trying to imagine a 4-armed form of a donkey. It's inconceivable. See, even this we cannot conceive. And if we can conceive it, will be some kind of distorted version of reality. But it is a fact. So I should keep quiet right now and let other devotees say something about it.
Well,
And you being there with Govinda Maharaj.
I'm keeping quiet and happily hearing your stories and descriptions.
And so many stories are there. Like Haridas, the famous Banki Bihari temple. We actually more know about that pastime. It's perhaps one of the most PR, publicized and popular temple in Vrindavan. And why is it so popular? Because of this famous story when the deity tried to run away following the pure devotee. But that pure devotee was actually also a devotee of Lord Jagannath, and he spent quite some time in Jagannath Puri. And there was a famous pastimes when Jagannath would come to him at night, and they go stealing some fruits and flowers in the gardens of the temple, which was, of course, off limits to anyone but the pandits, and it was entirely for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. And one time the pandits heard something. I mean, people were probably trying to steal time to time, so they have guards, and they heard something is going on the trees over there, and Haridas and Jagannath picking some fruits. And then, of course, Jagannath disappears right away, and they catch Haridas and put him in a prison. And Jagannath appears to the priest and saying, "He is my pure devotee, please release him." And then he goes on pilgrimage, visits Vrindavan. There's one Banki Bihari sees Haridas and overwhelmed with love for his devotee. He is overwhelmed with love for his Lord. When he's leaving the temple, the deity jumps off from the altar and runs after him, unable to be separated from a pure devotee. So many wonderful stories. Anyhow, Maharaj, we're not going to go there. Once you start talking about Jagannath and so many different pastimes, there's so many. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita too, and with the different devotees of Lord Chaitanya.
Hare Krishna, Govinda, Govinda. And in the meantime, several devotees did join with us on the Zoom and also on Facebook. And so also to Mathura Basini Devi Rasi and to Divya Shakti Devi Rasi, who I can see that they're there because they put a comment. But to those of you who've not put a comment that we can see, to everybody there too, then we appreciate very much your presence with us. We're having a little festival here on Zoom and Facebook with the devotees. Actually, we're having a big festival. If all of us here were in one temple room, we'd be very happily chanting and dancing, wouldn't we? Govinda, Govinda, Prafulla Krishna Prabhu, Radha Sundari Lane. And Suresh Krishna Prabhu joined us here also on the Facebook. Since we began, I think we acknowledged others maybe. So here we are. So yes, any question from anybody? Elaine's got some hands like this. Jai. And oh yes, in the chat box, Sevarup, I think that is the audio. You'll have to listen to it, and then you will find out if it is the audio. Hare Krishna. And Paramanandhu is saying about the humor within Chaitanya Charitamrita. Well, there's humor with Srila Gurudev's presentation of Krishna consciousness and pastimes. There's humor with Srila Guru Maharaj's presentation of Krishna consciousness and pastimes. And perhaps I can give you an example of Guru Maharaj's humor. Okay, now the point is this. Okay, so just listen to this. I'm also going to listen to it because this is something that we were listening to yesterday here in the temple. We invited Srila Guru Maharaj. In one sense, we invited Srila Guru Maharaj to talk in the morning program, as we do here in Vila Govinda. But actually, I think we went to Navadip and went upstairs and heard him. But here's Srila Guru Maharaj, and we were sitting hearing this and replayed this like a couple of times to make sure we heard properly, because an unusual example or what is it? Metaphor and simile. Anyway, an unusual example to help us to understand some mood. So I hope this comes across okay, loud enough. I don't have the transcript words in front of me.
It's quite at home. Good.
Yes. So Srila Guru Maharaj is describing Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and how he's quite at home when he's talking about like the highest shlokas in relation to Goloka, Vrindavan and Krishna. So these are high topics, but he's now, Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Hera Maharaj is describing Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mood.
Slok is quite at home. But just some fully pumped. I become to express this, the meaning of this slok. We marked him as a fully pumped, full football.
And you can hear Guru Maharaj's laughter after giving that example. And yes, you may be thinking, what did Guru Maharaj say? Did he really say? So Guru Maharaj said, when reciting this shloka, and we can just go back to find the shloka, but this high shloka, then Srila Guru Maharaj is saying, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we marked that he was quite at home. Like he was talking about it, he's quite at home. And he was fully pumped, like a fully pumped football. and Guru Maharaj laughing at his own example, like he's fully pumped. He's trying to find so much fully pumped, like fully pumped football. And now you're going to ask me the shloka. And if I was one of many of the devotees who are very good at reciting shlokas, then I would be able to say it. But I'm now rewound a little bit, and immediately Paramanandhu and others may catch the verse too.
Guru Maharaj, when he used to come to this slok to explain this Hera-panchami, full of emotion, we found him sometimes tears losing. Hera-panchami, this slok he used to explain amongst the selected disciples.
Amongst the selected disciples.
That he has come to his own place, come home, when he used to explain this slok. It's quite that
He has come to his own plane. He has come home when he came to explain this shloka.
He's quite at home.
Quite helpful.
But just some fully pumped. I become to express this, the meaning of this book. We marked him as a fully pumped, full football. Hari Krishna, Hari Krishna. Nidai Gauravi.
Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. So please, Paramanand, just help us out with this shloka and the meaning.
Maharaj, I don't remember it by heart, but Seva Rupa can find it easily.
Empowered by Paramananda Prabhu, Seva Rupa can find it easily.
My internet is a bit slow, but I will find it.
Krishna, 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 Krishna. Anyhow, this came to mind when Paramananda was saying about the humor, and Guru Maharaj was humorous. Gurudev was humorous. And we know Srila Prabhupada was humorous by hearing and seeing his talks and knowing Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. And we can understand that three topmost devotees in a room together, my goodness, what kind of humorous interaction between the three of them took place in many places, beginning with Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada in Allahabad. That was their first meeting, but then coming to the extensive association in Calcutta at 7 Sitakanta Banerjee Lane, a sweet, sweet place. In Calcutta, yes, Calcutta has sweet places. 7 Sitakanta Banerjee Lane is one. When we go there, we just really think of what took place there between our masters. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, any hands are up? No hands are up. Govinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivas Adi Gaura. Vrindavaneshri has a hand. In the middle of the night, speak quietly, don't wake up all the family. Yes.
But as a matter of fact, it's not a question, but listen to everybody here. I remember something that happened just yesterday, because as a yoga teacher for kids, a student of mine came to tell me that a friend of hers said that yoga is not God's thing. And I started to explain that yoga means union. So I asked her, union with what? And I also asked, when you close your eyes, I'm talking with a year-old child. I'm telling correctly.
1 year old child?
6 years old girl, 6 years old, 6. And so I asked her, when you close your eyes and try to understand who you are and what exists inside you, what do you find? And then she answered me, God. I find God. And I said, so you understand now that yoga is a way for you to unite with God, to return to Him. And so your friend is totally wrong. But in another class, it was a few classes, other day, I don't know what day it was, but yesterday, this issue came again. And so talking with kids, I only came in my mind a passage from a book that I used, which was recommended by Shri Hari a few years ago. And so I picked to read, that is on the Way Home by Radhanath Swami. Anyway, and I read in that book a passage telling that a dog, and I tell the kids, a dog will recognize his master regardless of what he's wearing. The master may wear robes, a suit and tie, or be naked, but the dog will always recognize his master. So if we cannot recognize God, our beloved master, when he is with different clothes from another religion, then we are smaller than a dog. And it was beautiful to see in their little eyes the desire to hear more about God. And it was something, I feel like, listen to you, a way that I was showing the Krishna's consciousness like a seed. And it was beautiful to see they wanted to learn to learn more about this little dog, thinking, oh, he has another name, but he is still the only one, the only God. It was a beautiful thing that happens yesterday.
And many thanks for sharing. And this is also very original thinking and original understanding. Very beautiful. And children are happy. You know, we have visitors coming and going at Vila Govinda Ashram, and we went by the Fume Ada on pilgrimage, means River Ada, and where Srila Gurudev went, and he liked to go near Leonardo da Vinci's boat, which was designed after his invention of how to cross the river without an engine. Anyway, things like this. But it's a very peaceful place, very quiet. It's a flowing river and the footpath under the trees in the forest beside the river. Very gentle. But this time we're walking along, and then so much noise comes, but it's noise of children. And there was a school outing, and so they got all these kids, and they were in these big rubber dinghies, boats, the rubber inflatable boats coming down the river, but so much noise. And I thought, and if you were to get like 50, but actually I think there were more than 50, but anyway, we'll go to 60. If you can get 60, grown-ups, you're not going to get this kind of happiness and just, open joy being expressed and taking place and jumping in the river. And actually, Paramananda sang about Advaita Charger and, very noble, great songs, playing like children in the Indradyumna Sarovar, in the lake there in Jagannath Puri. And Mahaprabhu was very happy to see. I was also thinking there about, the children, they have another view of life entirely, and it's quite open. When they're happy, they make noise. When they're happy, they're doing all sorts of things. And so when a child can have some proper introduction to God consciousness and of a higher value in life, it is very good to sow the seeds in those soils. And as I've said and expressed many times before, when I first read from Srila Prabhupada and Bhagavad Gita, really one of my strong impressions, why nobody told me this before? I've never heard this in all my life, this straightforward, honest, clean message about God, about Krishna, about us, about we're not the body. And notably, I thought, why nobody taught this in school? So you are teaching children So we are trying to teach adults, and we must try to teach everybody, children, adults, rich, poor, every country of the world. And Mahaprabhu, his message is for everybody. This is the amnesty, the present day amnesty. We're not looking at, oh, it happened before, but now we're stuck here. No, the whole wave of his mercy is flowing. So yes, children, they definitely were having fun yesterday, by the way, deliberately tipping the boat upside down with like 15 kids in it and jumping in. They were all wearing life jackets. They had, the supervisors with them. And then, so then they went down the river and we went down the river. And where they docked, where they went to the side was like a resort place. I mean, very simple countryside resort. One or two of you seen it. You've seen on the other side of the river, there's a simple resort. Believe it or not, with a swimming pool when you've got the river outside. And anyway, there was much noise taking place there. But I did notice that there were some like middle-aged or retired persons who were seated in one part, on the deck chairs and like with a martini or something. And I thought, they probably had an advert to come, this serene place as a retreat on the banks of the river like this. And instead, they probably was serene like 10 minutes ago, but it was a very lively place with lots of kids jumping in the pool and doing what children do. But expression. But older people, you get together and there'll be, a little bit of talking, politics, talking something. But that simple, clean kind of fun and expression of that, missing. So some observation from us about children too. And well done, Vrindavaneshwari. Give it to them so they can understand nicely. Hare Krishna. And Kumkum Devirasi joined us. Hare Krishna. We've been missing you, but we've been having a good time to get a festival. We decided we're having a festival, Kumkum Devi. Because if all of us were in one room, we'd be having a festival. And we are in one room. We're in the Zoom room. So let us have a Zoom festival together.
Yes.
Kumkum, would you like to share something with us?
Well, unfortunately, I only got to hear a little bit of this. I can watch it later, but it does remind me of the way the devotees pray about not being afraid to jump into the poisonous waters of Kaliya serpent. I can easily drink the poisonous water of the Jamuna because I know that Krishna must protect me. So this is a symptom of devotion, and many kinds of nature come in the practitioner's life. The first life is utsaha. They become very enthusiastic, sometimes do some wrong. It is necessary to gain understanding gradually, then less difficulty will come. So the main thing is that Srila Guru Maharaj expresses we need a living representative to know how to harmonize and adjust things for the time and place. We always need a guardian. Just like the little children are so happy because they have such good guardians, they can behave such.
Right, and we know what's further down that river. If they didn't have a guardian and they just go down the river, it becomes quite, wild. They would be in much difficulty. That whole area, it's broad and wide and it's flowing nicely down. But further down, it goes down to the rocks and it cascades down. And not only that, there's also the intake for the power station and all sorts of things. Much danger just a little down. But they don't care about that because, as you say, they've got their guardians with them and their guardians steering them to gelato, probably, in, in that resort. Hare Krishna. And okay, so yesterday, so that was the day before yesterday. Yesterday, we went up to Montevecchia because Gurudev went to Montevecchia, the church on the top of the hill. And some went up by car. We went up by walking because that's what we do, happily, but with the devotees. But the two children who are here, the Ukraine two children who are here, who are 9 and 7, so they're quite young. But as Chinmoy Dev pointed out, their motivation wasn't purely spiritual to go to the place where Gurudev was. Their motivation was, when we get there, there'll be gelato for you, gelato ice cream. And they were quite motivated. They did very well to get up there. And when we got there, by the way, there was a whole group of children up there also in a guided thing. Because actually, one good thing in this area, I think in a lot of places, but in this area, the churches, they arrange activities for school children who are on school holidays. And this kind of gives some relief to the parents, but also gives some outing and hopefully a little bit of something educational for them. It is, after all, run by the churches. So we hope they're giving them some little injection of God consciousness somewhere along the way too.
Yes.
But anyway, yes, our young children with their innocent view on life understood about the glories of gelato, and they happily came forward to have that. But we happily went there. And we also had our stories yesterday. Jagannath Prabhu taking binoculars and thinking, okay, Gurudev saw this, I'll get a better view of what Gurudev saw if I look through binoculars. I mean, he was joking, but we're trying to take the prasadam of Gurudev, what he saw, how he saw, like Jagannath, Mahaprabhu and the devotees in front of Jagannath. How do they see? What do they think when they see something? Well, the deity in that case, but when they see beauty or anything, we must think how the pure souls will see. All right, anyway, dear devotees, we covered a little bit of different topics, but inspired by Jagannath, and he happens to be Jagannath, and he is the Lord of everything, not only the universe. And so all of the universe is coming from him, and we must see the Lord everywhere in everything, do our best to do what they expect of us. And one of the things they expect of us is to tell others about Mahaprabhu, to tell others about the glories of the holy name. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave one directive too, that to, and I should find the exact wording, but it is to the effect that to broadcast the glories of Mahaprabhu and of the holy name is to serve Navadip. This is service to Navadip. So our connection to Navadip can be from everywhere, by broadcasting, by continuing what Mahaprabhu wants us to do, that is to tell others about the holy name, and to continue what Nityananda Prabhu wants us to do, tell others about Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Radha Krishna, all inconceivably one and different. Yes, we understand all this, but this is our fortune. We can connect to the highest thing anywhere in the world through this process of Harinam Sankirtan. And Sankirtan has its many forms, as we know, and we know who is giving the full kirtan, the full glories, the full everything, glorification of the name of the Lord. That's Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada. That's Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and our Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga. So all glories to the lotus feet of all our Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki jai, and to Sri Nitai Chaitanya Dev, to Nityananda Gauranga Sundar ki jai, and jai to Navadip deities, Sri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar Ju ki jai, To Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Master, Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. To all the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda, unlimited numbers of devotees Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Shila Bhakti Raja Madhusudama.
Ki Jai!
And Ganga Leela Devidasi, she put one word in the chat box, Siddhi. I think this was about when we were talking about traveling from one place to another and the power of mantras and becoming smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest. There are many things there in Siddhi. And you all have some Siddhi because you've come together like this from all over the world in one place. So keep up your good Siddhi and we'll meet you again soon. Dandavat, Dandavat. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gaurang. Govinda, Govinda.